All right. Hot tag. Collision. Collision was good. That's it. No, it's not.
Mhm.
I got you. All right. It opens up with the cold opens are back with the little mini interviews and into the song that's and
Oh, it was great.
Elton John is back. Oh, I
Uh,
really love those. It gives it a distinct feel from Dynamite. It's very old school, like Saturday night's main event kind of deal. Very much into it. Very much into it.
love it.
As long as only one show does it, I like it because then it establishes it as a separate part of its identity. Big Bill versus Cope opens up the show. Um, this was a good little match. I mean, Big Bill, I like Big Bill. I think that he's really, really charismatic and really maximizes his minutes whenever he's given a chance to speak. I mean, as a big man, he's kind of standard though in the ring. Like he's a big dude, like he's
Hmm.
impressive, and he got in excellent shape from when he got fired from the let go from WWE. He wasn't in great shape. He was going through personal struggles, depression, I think alcohol addiction as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Feel free to correct me on that if I need correcting, but I think that's what I heard. And he, during the pandemic, he got himself into incredible shape. Did it look like a stint in TNA and then came over to AEW, and he's been steady ever since.
Hmm.
Um, they that being said, there's still only so much that a guy with his the extent to which his in-ring skills can carry him. And so they
Hmm.
kind of had to do a lot of smoke and mirrors in this match, to stretch it out. Cope got the upper hand on the outside, bounced him off the announce table, is some cheating with some exposed turnbuckles, a lot of stuff. But the crowd was into it, especially on a very, very effective near fall at the end. Cope hit the spear, and everybody thought it was over. He kicked out of the spear. Like I know Cope gets a lot of flack for his version of the spear. A lot of people like to call it the flying hug and everything, but it ends matches
Hmm.
like 99.9% of the time. If he hits the spear, it's over. And Big Bill kicked out at two, and there was this collective gasp from the audience, like, oh, "Holy cow!" This speaks to TK because he has done an excellent job of booking Big Bill as a big guy to be protected. He doesn't win a lot, but he usually looks really, really good in defeat.
Yeah.
And he is usually only beaten in singles competition by big stars like Adam Copeland. So honestly, I think this actually did more for Bill than it did for Cope. Because Cope was always kind of going to win the match. Like he's
Hmm.
big star, just returning, getting into the Death Riders thing. Like he's going over. But
Hmm.
Bill really acquitted himself well. And the booking really, really helped. I thought this was really good, especially at the end. When actually Cope had to cheat to beat him too. He kicked him in the nuts behind the referee's back, and then hit him another spear. And then he does the call out to the Death Riders by ending the match for real with the hammer and anvil elbows, and by choking him out, which you know, Mox has used the rear naked choke to finish matches before. It was especially prevalent in his very first title reign that he used that a lot, actually.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this was actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. So I was very here for it. After the match, Jericho, who was at commentary and helped serve distraction in the middle of the match, he and Brian Keith jumped in the ring to beat up Cope, but FTR made the save. And I thought they were going to do the thing because uh, Jericho and Dax Harwood had a match scheduled for that. I thought they were going to go right into that, but they
Hmm.
didn't. And the reason they didn't because they were already going to do that thing later in the show, and
Yeah.
they didn't want to do it twice in a row. So good for them. Like, I mean, if they were gonna pick one, yeah, okay. Give
Mm-hmm.
Dax the main event. Dax is somebody who is underrated as a singles wrestler. Like he never wins. He never wins. But he always has like one of those matches where it's like, oh man, you think he could win. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's very good as the babyface, the singles babyface fighting from underneath. He's very good at making you think, oh, he has a shot. He's got a
Mm-hmm.
shot. Underrated talent in as a singles, I
Yeah.
think. Um, Hangman cuts a promo, an incredible promo after this, where he, for all the people complaining that this is too subtle and I'm not getting his character and he doesn't have a character arc. Yeah, watch this promo because it looks like they're tired of that and tired of the complaining. And he pretty much spells out exactly who he is.
Mm-hmm.
He feels, even though it's really not his fault because all he did was show up for work that day and Swerve invaded his home knowing that he was going to be at work. That's it. That's literally it. Adam Page is not responsible for what Swerve Strickland did,
Mm-hmm.
but he feels responsible for it. He feels like he failed his family. And because of that, he is not going back to the way he was. And anything that he sees as a threat to him and his family and his private way of life is going to feel it. It's going to feel the consequences. So he challenges Christopher Daniels to a Texas death match next week on Collision, which is incredible acceleration of this. They haven't even
Mm-hmm.
had a normal one. They're going right to the blood feud finisher. Like, it's like, okay. I mean, I guess it makes sense because, like, you're not getting more than one match out of Christopher Daniels, who's a part timer anymore. But, like, they're trying everything they can to make heel Hangman get over as a heel. We'll see how well it works because I happen to know that the Blue Sky following is very much like 80 to 90% in Hangman's corner on pretty much every to the point where it's like Hangman can do no wrong, even though I mean, he may have done a little wrong, but Hangman's done no wrong. But yeah, I think this is a vehicle for them to try to like a last ditch effort to establish that yeah, he is somebody that you should be booing now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if it works. Regardless, this promo was excellent. And I think
Yeah.
that Hangman proves again that it's not just in the ring where he gets it done. Like his greatest strength actually isn't his in-ring work, as good as his in-ring work is. It's actually in his character work. He knows that character inside and out, doesn't deviate from it, lives it. He puts everything into it. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, there's certain people online. I won't name names. This isn't that kind of podcast. I won't name names, but there are certain prominent people online who are complaining about, oh, he doesn't have a story arc. Oh, he doesn't have a character. Oh, he's pointless. No. Sorry it went over your head.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is now you have no choice but to admit, yeah, this is who he is. He knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly what he's doing. This is the plan. Sorry you couldn't see it. Sorry you need everything spoon fed to you. But this is it. And it's great. It's great. Next match was Commander and Pac, and this was great as predicted. Uh, Probably my favorite part was when Pac, who has a history with Alex Abrahantes when they were part of Death Triangle together,
Mm-hmm.
just lives up to Pac's nickname and just like terrorizes Alex Abrahantes. He's just completely like he does like the thing where he lifts him off the ground and Commander makes the save with an incredible double jump moonsault. But like my favorite part was Pac like just saying, yeah, you and I have a past and it doesn't matter. Screw you. I'm going to I'm going to make you pee your pants. Essentially, was Pac's. And whenever he went outside, it was like, no, Alex Abrahantes is going to get the business. So, um, incredible stuff. How do you call a match between two incredible high flyers like this? The finish comes when uh, 450 from Commander gets met with Pac's knees, sets up the brutalizer. I don't know. I don't like Tony Khan putting his one of his champions in a position. I mean, it's Ring of Honor. It's the Ring of Honor TV title, but still, like, I don't know if you should be having him take clean submission losses to non-contenders, in just normal non-title matches. I don't know if that's really building your brand. The match itself in a vacuum was great. I liked it. Pac is just one of those guys. I keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep beating this drum. Pac should be. He's far overlooked, but he should be in the pound for pound discussion. Bell to bell, there are not many guys in the same league as Pac, and it doesn't get often talked about. Certainly not enough. So this is the part where they flow one match into another, because after the match, Wheeler and Claudio make their way to the ring. Pac lifts up Commander's lifeless body, and Claudio is about to get his revenge from when the end of the C2, when Commander got the win by using the knuckles, the brass knuckles that Darby had confiscated from Claudio when he used them against Darby and stuffed in his coat. Great bit of business there, by the way. I really wish we could have talked about that episode.
That was the best thing. I loved it.
That was great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
It was like, if I can't move on, I'm going to make sure you don't. And I'm going to help. And Commander got a huge win off of it. Beating Claudio is no small feat.
No, it isn't.
So they're acknowledging the continuity, the canon, and they're holding them up so that Claudio can get it in. But then the Outrunners, who have a scheduled match against Claudio and Yuta, they come out and make the save, and that flows right into that match. This match was okay. I mean,
I have the same assessment.
The appeal of the Outrunners is not their in-ring work; it's their character work and their energy.
Yeah,
like, they are hilarious. They are greatly entertaining. They are a throwback. But, like, when you put them against, like, two no-nonsense guys who probably shouldn't be selling their funny stuff, it's an odd fit.
Yeah.
It would be better if the Death Riders had characters that would sell a little bit more of that stuff for the purposes of this match. But I don't think that should be sacrificed for the overrunning narrative. The narrative is more important than a single match on Collision with no stakes. So, Death Riders win with the rocket launcher. I like the rocket launcher.
I do too, actually.
But earlier in the match, Yuta had done the drop kick off of Claudio's swing. I think it was Truth, one of them.
Yeah.
And Yuta was not the legal man, but he tried to pin him. And they used, I'm pretty sure it was planned. And they used that to justify Truth kicking out of it, because that's their usual finish now, I think, is the swing into the drop kick. So, that momentary distraction where Claudio got mad because you're not the legal man. Get the hell out of here so I can pin him. Oh, no. It was the pin got broken up. So it gave him time to, that's what it was. But after the match ends, Claudio gives Yuta the business. He's like, he dresses him down in front of everybody because, again, that's Yuta's role now. he's just the guy that takes all the crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, that to me, that was probably the best part, was the rocket launcher. I like the rocket launcher. I don't know. It's simple and it's old school, but I like it. I like the fact that they use an old school move to beat the old school team.
Yeah.
I thought that was, poetic. I like that. And I liked the bit of business afterwards, the character bit with Claudio and Yuta. Screw you, Yuta. You chose wrong. That's gonna be a recurring theme for, like, as long as this Death Riders thing is going. So get used to me saying screw you, Yuta. Next up was actually my most anticipated match. Mariah May versus Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron came out with her new song. New song's a banger. She sings it herself. She's no longer reliant on Soraya's theme. Thank goodness, for so many reasons.
hmm
Um, and Cameron really, I thought she really acquitted herself well here. I thought she really, I mean, she's been growing leaps and bounds in ring. Like she's one of the most entertaining characters on the show. Um, there was actually some kind of chain wrestling here that I wasn't really prepared for with these two. I was
hmm
very, very accepting of it. Uh, May gets a knee lift out of nowhere into a Storm Zero, and a match that probably lasted longer than a lot of people thought it was going to. I think I'm pretty sure there was a commercial break in between. Harley got some good stuff in. The crowd was definitely behind Harley. You've got a star in her hands here. Like I really think so. Um,
Yeah.
like she's not ready to win a belt. She's not. In ring work means too much in AEW for that to be on her horizon in the immediate future. But you've
hmm
got a star on your hands here. If you play your cards right, she could be big for them. You get a response from Christopher Daniels to Adam Page. He's sick and tired of being disrespected, blah, blah, blah. He accepts Page's challenge for a Texas death match. That big dummy. He's gonna he's gonna get murked. Uh, Brody
yeah.
King has a match with Trevor Blackwell, who is a local person. So it
Oh,
match doesn't
okay.
go too long. The match doesn't go too long. There was a cool little bit of business. I do like it when they spice up the squashes a little bit by giving the guy who's getting squashed a little bit of a character moment. Like so, he's trying to escape Brody on the outside, and he's just circling the ring, and he runs into Julia, and Julia just gives him a shake of her head and a little wag of her finger. And Blackwell's like, oh, I don't know if I want to mess. I don't know if it's safe for me to cross this line, which puts over Julia big
hmm
time. Puts her over as dangerous because this dude was twice the size of Julia Hart, and he was stopped. He was like, I'm not messing with this chick either. And he turns around right back into Brody, who throws him back inside. Lariat, cannonball, gonzo bomb. It's over. Uh, this seems like a nothing match, but after the match, after the commercial break, um, he's backstage with Lexi Nair getting interviewed, and Coke comes out, and he's like, "I know this is a confusing time for you. I know that you and I have had history earlier last year, but let me tell you, I've been in the ring with you, and I've been in the ring with Buddy. You guys can go solo. Like you guys are ready. It's time." And it was great because he just walked away. He didn't offer his services. He didn't offer to mentor him. He said, "You're ready. Go and do it." Like so many of these characters, MJF just did it on Dynamite. I can help you. Christian Cage just made a whole thing of adopting fatherless children. Like it's not the patriarchy. It's Christian Cage's school for wayward boys. Um, but it's uh, it was nice to see Cope just say, "Yeah, you're ready. If you need encouragement, yeah, here it is. You're ready. Go off and be on your own." Like that was just a small thing, but really refreshing. Totally dug it. Totally
hmm
dug it. So like that segment wouldn't have made sense without the squash match because it proves that Cope was right in what he says because he easily dispatched a guy right in front of them just a few minutes ago, in front of everybody just a few minutes ago,
hmm
without Malachi Black there. But it also um, justified Brody King having this segment at all because if he was just there hanging out, it wouldn't have made sense. But he was there because he had a match that he just won. So like I like when things line up to make sense like that. Right? TNT Championship match was next. Danny Garcia defends against Katsuyori Shibata. it's no secret that I'm a big fan of both of these guys for different reasons. Um, Danny Garcia is a Buffalo boy, like I am. Like I don't live in Buffalo, but I grew up in Buffalo. I was there until I was 13, 12, 13. So I have a lot of hometown love for Buffalo, and that dude is obviously very talented. Shibata, man, nobody beats the crap out of guys quite like Katsuyori Shibata. I love Shibata. I think he's fantastic. Uh, and this match was very much Shibata taking about 70% of the offense and just destroying Daniel Garcia, only for Garcia to kind of come up from underneath and win with the jackknife, which is almost like a finisher for him at this point. The jackknife
Mm-hmm.
pin, like
Yeah.
it's a weird thing. Like he doesn't have an impact finisher; he has a submission finisher, and then he has a pin. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
it works. They played off their history with the ROH Pure title. Shibata took the belt off of Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
They did a couple of nods to that and stuff like that. Uh, this match was just like it was. It was just it was if it was in my home indie promotion and I was in the audience, the crowd would have immediately, within a minute, started chanting wrestling because that's what it was. It was just great graps, man. Big
Mm-hmm.
fan of it, love it. Uh, After that, fantastic video package promoting the women's casino gauntlet that was coming up. I think they played it on Dynamite too, but they played it again here. They're really, really hyping it up. And I'm really, really glad for that.
Mm-hmm.
And the match that ended the show was Dax Harwood versus Chris Jericho. Um, I had a lot of praise for Dax earlier, just a few minutes ago, but this was awkward. Like these two
A
just didn't
match.
really. It was a match. It didn't really seem like they had a lot of chemistry with one another. Not
Mm-hmm.
for lack of trying. Like the effort was there. It just didn't click. Um, which is disappointing. I mean, it just kind of goes to show. I think it's more on Jericho than Harwood. I mean, this is happening more frequently with Jericho now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you put him in a plunder match, or you put him in a match where like the whole story is like him and Ishii, where all they did was chop each other for like 15 straight minutes, but somehow made that work. I
Mm-hmm.
loved that. I loved that match. I thought that match was great. Like the blood, like they chopped each other like 200 times. It was stupid and wonderful.
Yeah.
Because it's Ishii. You know, I love Dax, but he's no Ishii. Like in terms of aura.
Yeah.
Like he is only 5'7" and looks like a angry bowling ball come to life, but he has an undeniable presence about him. That Dax, as much as I love him, he just doesn't have that singles aura about him. He just doesn't. You put him together with Cash, yes, absolutely. That tag team is the best tag team I have ever seen in my entire life, in my opinion. But and I love Dax's singles work, but this didn't click,
Mm-hmm.
and it was awkward. And Jericho's, I think, he's just showing his age. Like not everybody. I mean, everybody's got a shelf life, and he's reaching his. And you could put up. I could put up with Chris Jericho, kind of, hanging around. Because I mean, you've got him on a big money contract. He was incredibly important for the early years, especially of AEW,
Mm-hmm.
to establish it as a brand. If Chris Jericho is not your first champion, I doubt they get TV as quickly as they did. Um, it's I don't want to discount his contributions,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand that you have to put him on TV because of how much money you're probably paying. and because of his name value. But eventually, that name value among wrestling fans, maybe not advertisers, because they probably don't watch the product, but like they're probably not fans of the product. They just know, oh, we make money this way.
Mm-hmm.
But to fans of the product, it's like Jericho can still talk, but I don't know if he's got it in him to do like a bunch of regular singles matches anymore. Put him in a plunder match and he'll make something work. But like,
Mm-hmm.
this ain't working for me. And I
Mm-hmm.
hate that. I hate it. I hate it because I love Dax, but this didn't work for me.
Yeah.
After the match, the learning tree hits, and so it was a big WCW Nitro 1997 ending where everybody hits the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the learning tree, rated FTR, Death Riders are there, Outrunners are there. It's just completely just Hobbs gets in there. Like he puts Wheeler Yuta through a table. Like it's it was a big fracas. And I guess that leads to a big 12-man tag team match that was just announced a few hours ago online.
Yeah.
So you've got the Death Riders in the Learning Tree versus the Outrunners, Cope, FTR, and Hobbs
Mm-hmm.
for next week on Collision, which might as well happen.
Best case
I
scenario, Moxley attacks Jericho because he has a huge ego.
Yeah, I mean, I think that honestly, what I feel should be the story of that match, if I were booking it, is FTR or Death Riders don't want to tag in anybody from the Learning Tree, and only do so with blind tags or if they absolutely must.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, Jericho gets too big for his britches and pisses off Mox, and then Mox takes his boys and leave. So it becomes a 6-on-3 thing that the Learning Tree can't overcome. That's probably what, and then they hit the ring after the match is done to lay everybody out
Yeah.
because that's who they are. That's if I was booking, that's how I would do it because to me that makes the most sense. There's no reason. I mean, Tony Khan makes the match, so he's the one who puts it together, regardless of whether those guys get along or not. That's
Mm-hmm.
fine. You accept that, but like, there's no reason that those two factions should get along
Mm-hmm.
at all. They represent absolute diametrically they're diametrically opposed to each other.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, with the exception of maybe them wanting to try and recruit those guys out from under Jericho, I could see them having interest in. I mean, they show interest in learning.
Mm-hmm.
The person they would have issue with is Jericho doing the teaching. So I could see them with how mean Brian Keith is and how enormous Big Bill is. I could see them recruiting them or at least making an attempt. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them getting along with Jericho. So that's how I would book that match. But that's your main event for next week's Collision.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got. Like, I mean, it was mostly good. I really do think it was mostly good, but just Jericho at this point is just,
Yeah. Kind of
I
sending
mean,
the show out sour.
yeah, a little bit. It's too
Mm.
bad.
That is.
But that's your match, guys. That's your tag match. You
That
got your
is.
lockup, you got your shine, you got your morning, and you got your hot tag. Now it's time to what, Aaron?
We do like the veterans do, and we call it in the ring.